Hello, welcome back to Podcast Learning English, where learning English with simple and engaging dialogues is easy and fun. I am Carol.
Hello, Carol. Hello, all our wonderful listeners around the world. I'm Edu. Today's a great day to learn and practice English. It will be great to have you with us until the end of this episode. How are you doing today, Carol?
Honestly, Edu, I'm freezing. I woke up at 6 this morning, and the moment I opened my eyes, I could feel the cold air in my room. It's that time of year again.
I know exactly what you mean. I woke up at 7 and I didn't want to leave my bed. It was so warm under the blankets and the room was so cold. Winter mornings are the hardest, aren't they?
They really are. And you know what makes it worse? Taking the bus in the winter. I had my tea this morning, put on 3 layers of clothing, and still felt chilly waiting at the bus stop.
At least you have tea to warm you up. I'm a coffee person, but even my hot coffee couldn't help me this morning. I got in my car and it was like sitting in a freezer. I had to wait for the heater to kick in.
That's the thing about winter. It tests your patience from the moment you wake up. But today, we're not just complaining about the cold. We're here to talk about winter in English, and this is not just an English lesson, it's also a life lesson.
Exactly, because winter isn't just about the weather. It's about how we adapt, how we find warmth in small things, and how we keep going even when it's harsh outside.
And at the end of this episode, we'll break down key vocabulary words related to winter, so stay until the end. You'll learn words that native speakers use every day during the cold season.
So grab your warm drink, get cozy, and let's begin. Carol, can I ask you something? What's your first memory of winter?
That's a good question. I think my first real memory of winter was when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. My family and I went to visit relatives in a colder region, and I saw frost for the first time. I remember touching the car window in the morning, and it was covered in ice. I thought it was magic.
That's beautiful. For me, winter always meant family gatherings. In our culture, when the weather gets cold, families come together more. My grandmother would make this thick, warm soup, and we'd all sit around the table, talking for hours.
I love that. Winter has this way of bringing people closer, doesn't it? Maybe because when it's cold outside, we naturally seek warmth from each other.
Exactly. But I have to admit, as much as I love those memories, winter mornings are still my enemy. Have you ever noticed how much harder it is to be productive in winter?
Oh, absolutely. I'm the kind of person who already struggles with procrastination, and winter makes it 10 times worse. When it's cold and gloomy outside, my brain just wants to hibernate.
Hibernate. That's such a perfect word for it. Sometimes I feel like a bear in winter. I just want to stay in bed, snuggled under the blankets, and not deal with the world.
And yet, we still have to go to work, right? We still have to show up, even when every part of us wants to stay home.
Speaking of work, how do you deal with winter at the office? Because I know our workplace can get really cold.
Oh, don't even get me started. You know how there's always that one person who controls the air conditioning? In winter, it's even worse. Some people want the heater on full blast, and others say it's too hot. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there in my jacket trying to focus on my work.
I feel you. And then there are the meetings, those long meetings in a cold conference room where you're trying to pay attention, but all you can think about is how freezing your hands are.
Yes, and you can't really say anything because you don't want to be that person who's always complaining. So you just sit there, suffering in silence.
But here's the thing, Edu. I've learned that winter, as uncomfortable as it is, teaches us something important. It teaches us resilience.
Resilience, that's a powerful word. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Winter is harsh. It's cold, it's dark, it's uncomfortable. But we adapt. We bundle up, we find ways to stay warm, we keep going. And that's resilience. It's the ability to face difficult conditions and not give up.
I never thought about it that way, but you're right. Winter forces us to be stronger. It's like nature's way of testing us.
Exactly. And if you think about it, winter isn't just a season, it's a metaphor for life. We all go through our own winters, difficult times, challenging moments, periods where everything feels cold and dark.
That's deep, Edu, but it's true. I've had my own winters in life. Times when I felt stuck, when I didn't know how to move forward, when everything seemed gloomy.
And how did you get through those times?
Honestly, I had to remind myself that winter doesn't last forever. Spring always comes. It might take time, but it always comes.
That's beautiful. And that's the lesson, isn't it? Winter is temporary. The cold is temporary. The darkness is temporary. We just have to hold on and trust that warmth will return.
You know, Carol, I think that's why I actually appreciate winter now, even though it's uncomfortable. It reminds me that life has seasons. There are times to be active and productive, and there are times to slow down, to rest, to reflect. I love that perspective. Winter is a time for introspection. It's a time to go inward, to think about what we want, to plan for the future.
Exactly. And in our Arab culture, winter has always been a time for family, for storytelling, for connection. When it's cold outside, we gather inside. We share meals, we share stories, we share warmth.
That's one of the things I love most about our culture. We don't fight against winter, we embrace it, we make it meaningful.
And I think that's something everyone can learn, no matter where they're from. Winter isn't the enemy, it's just a different kind of experience. It's an opportunity to slow down and appreciate the small things,
Like a hot cup of tea on a cold morning,
or a warm blanket after a long day.
or a conversation with a good friend.
Speaking of which, Carol, do you have any tips for our listeners on how to make winter more bearable?
Oh, definitely. First, layer your clothing. Don't just wear one thick jacket. Wear multiple layers so you can adjust based on the temperature.
That's smart. I learned that the hard way. I used to just wear one heavy coat and then I'd be too hot indoors and too cold outdoors.
Exactly. Layers give you flexibility. Second, stay active. I know it's tempting to just stay in bed, but moving your body actually helps you stay warm and keeps your energy up.
That's true. Even a short walk can make a huge difference. What else?
Find something to look forward to. Winter can feel long and gloomy, so give yourself little moments of joy. Maybe it's a warm drink, a good book, a movie night with friends.
I love that. For me, winter is a perfect time to work on personal projects. Since I'm spending more time indoors anyway, I use that time to learn new things, to read, to grow.
That's a great mindset. Winter is a season of preparation. It's when we plant the seeds for what we want to bloom in spring.
Wow, Carol, that's poetic. But it's true. Winter is not wasted time, it's preparation time.
And I think that's the most important lesson we can share today. Winter, whether it's the actual season or a difficult period in your life, is not something to fear. It's something to learn from.
It teaches us patience, resilience, and the value of warmth, both physical and emotional.
It reminds us that we're stronger than we think, that we can adapt, that we can find light even in the darkest, coldest moments.
And it shows us that nothing lasts forever. The cold will pass, the warmth will return. We just have to keep going.
So, to everyone listening, if you're going through your own winter right now, remember this: you are not alone. We all face winters. We all struggle with the cold, but we also all have the strength to get through it.
And when spring comes, and it will come, you'll appreciate the warmth so much more because you survived the cold.
Beautifully said, Edu. Now, before we wrap up, let's break down some key vocabulary words we used today.
Yes, let's do it. Carol, we used some really interesting words today.
We did. Let's start with freezing. This means extremely cold. For example, it's freezing outside, so make sure you wear a jacket.
Next, cozy. This means warm, comfortable, and pleasant. For example, I love sitting by the fireplace on a cold night. It's so cozy.
Then we have layer. This is a piece of clothing worn on top of another. For example, I'm wearing 3 layers today because it's so cold.
Chilly. This means slightly cold. Not extremely cold, but enough to be uncomfortable. For example, it's a bit chilly this morning. You might want to bring a sweater.
Hibernate. This is what animals do in winter. They sleep for a long time. But we also use it to describe people who stay indoors a lot during winter. For example, I tend to hibernate in winter. I just want to stay home.
Frosty. This means very cold, often with frost or ice. For example, it was a frosty morning. The grass was covered in ice.
Bundle up. This is a phrasal verb that means to dress warmly. For example, bundle up before you go outside. It's freezing.
Harsh. This means severe or difficult. For example, the winter was harsh this year. We had a lot of snow and cold weather.
Crisp. This describes cold, fresh, and dry air. For example, I love the crisp air in winter mornings.
Gloomy. This means dark, depressing, or sad. For example, winter days can feel gloomy when the sun doesn't come out.
Snuggle. This means to get into a warm, comfortable position, usually with someone or something. For example, I love to snuggle under a blanket with a good book.
And finally, biting cold. This describes extremely cold weather that feels sharp or painful. For example, the biting cold made my face hurt.
So those were our key words for today. Try using them in your own sentences. Practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. And remember, learning English is not just about memorizing words. It's about understanding how to use them in real conversations.
That's right. And we hope this episode helped you not only learn vocabulary, but also think about winter in a deeper way.
Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here and learning with us.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends who are also learning English. And don't forget to practice the vocabulary we covered.
Winter is a beautiful season, even with all its challenges. It teaches us so much about life, about resilience, about finding warmth in the cold.
And remember, no matter what winter you're going through, whether it's the weather or a difficult time in your life, spring is coming. Hold on, keep going. You're stronger than you think.
We'll see you next time on the Learning English podcast. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and stay warm.
Your progress doesn't end here. Click on the next video or explore the additional videos we've selected for you. See you soon!